we wear masks. We wear them for parties. We wear them for festivals. We wear them in plays. And they're fun in sometimes. We put all kinds of masks on. But y'all recognize that one. We had to do that for a very long time. And I found this one. And we wear masks that are a little different. Sometimes they can't be seen as easily. This is my Pinterest mask. If you ask me how my house is, I'm going to tell you, oh, it's wonderful. And you guys have been there, and you know that that's a joke. And my church family, we're all so together. And that living room, oh, someday it's going to be mine. Huh. We say we have a perfect family with terrific kids. How are your kids today? Oh, they're doing wonderful. We say we have friends that never ever get upset with us, that we get along perfectly, my best friends. They come when I need them. They take care of me. They're always there for me. I don't ever feel friendless. I have a mask on. Oh, I have a mask on. I'm spiritually holy. How are you today? Oh, sister, God is good all the time. My Bible study this morning, my prayer time this morning was so marvelous. God is good all the time. And I just love being in worship and raising my hands and singing the songs of worship and not trying to remember and think about how tired my arms are and how I'd rather be sitting down and how this looks a whole lot better than what I usually do. Because I doodle. That's how I worship. So we put these masks on. We put them on in middle school when I'm too much. I'm either too tall, too short, too fat, too thin. I'm too extroverted, too introverted. I'm just too much. And we put them on as we grow into teenage years. And, well, I have to be more this to get a boyfriend. And I have to be more this to get a girlfriend. And I have to be more this to get A's. And I got to be more that. We're not enough. So we throw on another mask. And we just keep doing that. And this is the mask we put on the most. How are you? Oh, I'm good. Are you really good? Oh, yes, I'm fine. Thank you for asking. And we wear these masks so often that they get glued to our skin. And the reality is more like this. That's what real life looks like for most of us. And we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to let anybody see the true, real things going on in our lives because I don't know that I can trust you. I don't know that you'll actually like me if you know what's going on. I'm not sure you'll love me for who I really am. So if I wear a mask, I'm much more lovable. You'll want to spend time with me. I won't have all these problems that in my head that I have all my life because we won't talk about those things. But it leaks out of us anyway. A mask can be as big as you want it to be, and we're crying out from inside because the mask is not fitting quite the way it should. We wear the mask that doesn't admit that we are overwhelmed, that we are so stressed, that we are so exhausted from all of the constant bombardment that we're under. And we just put on another mask. We get so tired, emotionally drained, that we just want to run away or hide because it's just so much. We're hurt as a child and we carry those hurts into our adulthood and we keep those masks on because I'm safe. I'm drowning in depression. I'm hopeless. I'm struggling to just keep going. And that mask is getting heavier because there's so many on. I'm grieving. I'm grieving the loss of a family member or a close friend. I'm grieving the loss of a dream or a vision or a goal. So I put on a mask because friends are great, but they only want to hear you tell that you're grieving a few times, not keep telling the same story over and over and over again. So we put on a mask that says, I've grieved. And we ignore the fact that we are still grieving. We just put on that mask. We get to be where we are uncertain of our future. We are afraid. But I'm not going to let you see that. I'm going to put on a mask. We get so spiritually worn out that we begin to question the very existence of the God who creates us, makes us, loves us, and lives in us. Why serve him when it is this hard? So we wear the masks, and we just get more physically tired, more mentally drained, more emotionally wrung out, and we get so spiritually depleted because we weary in well-doing that we think this. We hide behind a fake smile to mask the pain, but sometimes we wish someone would look closely enough and see how broken we truly are inside. Because I know very few people that I've had conversations with who don't agree with this statement. Because we hide behind our masks. We hide behind our masks so much that we feel like we're not seen, that we're not heard, and that we are unknown. No one knows who we truly are. Because we've put on mask after mask after mask to protect ourselves in one way or another. Maybe it's the social, I don't want to have to interact, so I'll put on the, I'm so busy, but thank you. Maybe I have the mask on that just simply says, I can't talk about how upset I am with any of you right now because I'm so upset, so I'll just say I'm fine. We have so many masks to choose from. But is your heart like that? And did you know that the majority of churches, this is one of the most common problems we face, is that we have to look this way. We have to look Pinterest. Because if we are not Pinterest, Facebook, perfect, you won't love me. God can't love me the way I am. But he does. Psalm 139, you should read at some point when you're down. Lord, you searched me and know me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You searched out my path and my lying down and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You hem me in behind, before, and you put your hand on me. When you have put on so many masks that you feel like you're unknown, you think God doesn't know you either. Oh, he does. He designed you. He knows what's really going on. He knows the hurt you're facing, the trauma you've been through, the pain that you're masking. He knows when you're trying to hide what's really going on. And he loves you. He loves you the way you are without fixing it, without masking it. He loves you now. And when we wear these masks, there's another problem. Not just that we hide from God who we are and just wait for him to see how great we could be, who we should be, but we hide from each other in the church. This, I've said it so many times, this is a family. And families know where you hide your dirty socks. And they know when you did not eat all of the food, but you left it laying out. And they know when you didn't close the toilet door lid. And they know when the laundry is behind the door and you just shut it when company came in. They know that about you. And we do that. And guess what? That's what family does, is we're here for each other in the easy and the bad. In fact, we're to carry each other's burdens. I'm not supposed to carry your burden for you. I'm supposed to aid you and be there with you and help absorb some of the load. We saw that this weekend. When we were all helping and working and doing, it was a whole lot easier on all of us. There's no way, and I have done, honestly guys, I counted a couple years ago, I've done over 1,000 sales. I could do this. I cannot do this by myself. So I need help to do things. You need help to do things. I cannot carry all the boxes anymore, but I can sure price things and boss kids around. I'll tell you, I'm good at that. Lots of practice with that. The other verse is, love your God, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with your soul, with your mind, with your strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. No commandment is greater than that. Like Sue read in Francis's thing, we are to love each other. This is what we're called to do. And as a family, we're supposed to be showing each other love. Jesus said, they're going to know you're my disciples if you have love for each other. God, how did God show his love? You can read it. He sent us Christ. And so since God loved us, we need to love each other because no one has seen God, but they see us. And his love is made complete in us. And we are the image of God. So when I show you love, I am showing you God. But if I'm wearing a mask, I can't love you as much as I should. And if you're wearing a mask, I'm not loving you. I only get to know the mask. And that's not who you are. When you've made a commitment to a church family, to be family, it gets messy fast. And we struggle with that because families are messy. You just are. And so we put on our church face and we act really good because it's easier and safer and don't have the energy to be real. But did you know that when people are real, when they're authentic, when they're bona fide, they've done studies that show that the person who is authentic does better in all these different ways. And I can tell you what they are later if you want to know. But it's because they're translucent. As Christians, we should be translucent, not transparent. There's some stuff you don't need to know. You don't need to know where my dirty socks are. But translucent. Christ shining through us. And that song we sang, the light going through us so that people see God in what we say and what we do. But I'm not going to be able to help if all we have is masks. We have to choose to drop the mask. Are you willing to exchange the mask you wear for the opportunity for your story to be used in his story? For your struggle to be used as a beacon of hope in the lives of hurting people around you? I'm going to tell you 2 stories. There was a pastor's wife who they had church and their parsonage was right next door, and they would have Sunday school in their living room. So the house was always clean. And Monday comes and the laundry's on the couch to get folded. Kids' toys are strewn everywhere. There's a newspaper, the cartoons are spread. And it's a mess. And the pastor's wife is just like, oh, my day off. And there's a knock on the front door. And she's like, Because if you're a pastor's wife, you got to answer it. So she goes to the door and she kind of half opens it because she's hoping the woman can't see the living room. And the woman is bawling. Pastor's wife is going, okay, come on in. And the lady comes in and she's just can't even hardly talk, breathe, because she's crying so hard. And she looks around and you would understand. Because when we put on the mask of perfection, that our house is perfect, our kids are perfect, our friends we're perfect, we aren't really much good to those who are broken and hurting and devastated by the life they are living. But if they see that we are not perfect, that we recognize and accept the fact that we are imperfect, and we still love each other, and we still carry each other's burdens, and we still are there in the messiness, that story just shines like a beacon. And that story is his story in our life. And that when we are real and authentic and we are willing to let people see into what's going on, they are touched. Paul has said it in a different way. With unveiled faces, beholding the glory of God, we're being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. For this comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit. All that to say, we look more and more like God when we have unveiled faces. We're not wearing a mask. Our face is open to people. They can see the glory of God shining through me. And that tells them how great God is and how good God is all the time, and that even when I am suffering, God is good. And I'm learning how to love in a way that is not the love we have for an orange, or the love we have for our brother, or the love we have for our spouse or our kids. We're learning a love that's truly the love of God for each other. And it matters when we are a family. It's hard. Again and again, I'll tell you, it's hard being in a family. And in being in a church family is messy. When we are going through really tough stuff in our lives, this family comes alongside and helps. We try really hard to do practical, pragmatic walking out what love looks like. When my husband died 7 years ago, I had no income. My daughter was living with me and she had some, but I had nothing because of the way it all went. And I was a couple of months in, about 6 months in, and just had found a little bit, done a little bit, sold a little bit. So I had just this much money, and I was on the phone, and I was paying the bills that I could pay. And as I was paying the bills, I said, God, you've been there, and I trust you. What are you going to do? And the phone beeped. And I saw who it was, and they want information about Bible study. I'm going to have to put on my spiritual mask here in a minute. Okay, I can do this. Just got to finish this call, and then I'll answer her. Got off the phone, having paid my last $250 to the electric company, and I knew I had $10 left. And called her back and said, hi, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. So you called a minute ago. What do you need? Bible study's next Tuesday. Did you have a question? No. I wanted to let you know that the church just paid your electric bill for the year. That's bearing my burden. That's being family. That's doing what I can't do for myself. But I had to be willing to not wear my mask to church and let them see I had a need. I didn't tell them I needed my bills paid. But when they'd say, how are you doing? I didn't say, I'm fine. I said, I will be okay. I'm not at the moment, but I will be okay. I had to be willing to admit that my life was crumbling and it was hard. And my family took care of me. I can tell you from experience that when we put on our church face, we are harming ourselves. We are stopping some of the growth and the maturing that we could do if we were real and honest and said, I have this issue or this problem. We are stopping the friendships that are available to us in the church. We are stopping the connections that we need. We are stopping the opportunities to bless someone or be blessed. Those masks have a real heavy cost. And I think it's time they got taken off. I think it's time that the family in this family, that the families within this family, have a talk and say, I'm not perfect, and it's okay. I'm struggling, and it's okay. I'll be okay because I have a family who cares. Let's let God, who loves us so much, see you really. See you. We can trust him. And he already does see you, even if you won't admit it. Let's, as a family, aid in bearing each other's burdens because we're stronger together. And this line, by loving differently and being willing to be seen and to be known as we truly are, we will impact the lives of those around us for Christ. We are willing to work through the messiness of life together because we are committed to God, to this family, and to each other. I think it's time to drop the masks and walk away from them. Don't pick them back up, leave them laying at the foot of the cross, as they would say when I was a kid in the church. Leave it at the foot of the cross, sister. Got it. We have gotten so comfortable wearing our masks that it's stopping us from loving the true us, the true you, the true me. You know, God told me to do this sermon months and months ago. And when it was decided that I'd do this week and next week, I was sitting down and I'm going to write a sermon, no problem. And I started to write, and I wrote a completely different sermon. And it was all but done. And then I got this tap on my shoulder, and it was God saying, that's not what I told you to say. I told you to tell them to drop the mask. It's time to stop wearing the masks. And then I had 3 different conversations with people, and the mask concept was in all 3 of those. At which point I'm like, fine, I give up. We'll talk about it. Good now? I kind of talk to him like I talk to you. You know, one thing about having brain trauma is my filters are broken, so I don't get to wear as many masks because they won't stay on. They keep falling off. And everybody sees it. This isn't easy to do. This isn't something you can just do like a magic button you can push. This is something you have to practice and do over and over. And as we are doing this, as you are choosing to drop your mask and leave it and not pick up your church mask again, as you're doing that, we're going to have to give each other grace. Because I'm not perfect. And neither are you. And we're going to make mistakes and miscommunicate and have struggles. But we're family. And we will give each other love. And we will give each other grace. And we will keep going. And if you are feeling like you're drowning behind your mask, You feel like you want to run away. You feel like, is there a God? Maybe take that mask off and talk to one of us. Let us know your heart and let us walk with you as you're dealing with what's going on. Jim, will you come forward and help us with communion? And 12 men hung around for 3 years with Jesus. And they didn't all get along, but they were family. And look what they did.